It's late. You've finally done it. You've sat down. The work is as done as it's going to get tonight. The lights are low, and you've lowered yourself onto the couch with the specific intention of doing absolutely nothing. This is the moment you've been chasing all day. And yet, almost the second your body sinks into the cushions, a small voice clears its throat somewhere in the back of your mind. Shouldn't you be doing something? Isn't there a thing? There's always a thing. And just like that, the rest you waited all day for turns to ash in your mouth. So here's the question I want to sit with you tonight. Why is it that the one thing your whole body is begging for, the simple act of stopping, feels so much like getting away with something? Because that's the strange part, isn't it? It's not that you can't rest. It's that you can't rest without paying a tax on it. A low, constant hum of guilt running underneath the stillness. You lie down and your mind starts listing everything you're not doing. You watch a show and a quiet voice mutters that this is a waste of time. You take a slow morning, and by 10 o'clock you feel like you're already losing some invisible race. The rest is right there in your hands, and you can't quite bring it to your mouth. The first thing I need you to hear, before anything else, is that this is not a personal failing. You are not uniquely broken. You are not lazy, and you are not weak, and you are definitely not the only one lying there feeling this. This exact guilt is sitting on millions of couches tonight, in millions of quiet rooms. It is one of the most common feelings there is. And the fact that it's so common should be your first clue. When a single feeling shows up in this many people, all at once, it usually isn't a flaw in the people. It's something in the water, something they were all taught. And the cost of it is real. People burn straight through themselves, year after year, because the one thing that could refill them is the one thing they won't allow without flinching. They take the vacation and answer emails on the beach. They get sick, finally, and lie in bed apologizing for being in bed. They reach the end of a long week, and instead of softening into Saturday, they feel a strange dread at having nothing to point to, nothing to show for the empty hours. The guilt doesn't just steal the rest. It quietly turns rest into one more thing to feel bad about, which is a cruel trick to play on a tired person. So let me stop you before you spend another hour blaming yourself for not being able to relax. The guilt you feel when you rest was installed. It did not grow there naturally. It was put there, carefully, over years, by 1,000 small messages, until it felt like your own voice. And tonight I want to show you whose voice it actually is, because once you can hear it clearly, it loses most of its power. So let's meet the thing behind the guilt. Because there is a voice, and it's been with you a long time. It learned to sound exactly like you. And its core belief, the thing it whispers under everything, is brutally simple. You are worth what you produce. Your value is a number, and that number is your output. When you make things, when you finish things, when you're useful, the number goes up and you're allowed to feel okay. And when you stop, when you rest, when you make nothing at all, the number starts to fall. That's the guilt. That's the whole engine of it. It isn't really about the dishes or the emails. It's the quiet terror that if you stop producing, you stop being worth anything. Picture it like a treadmill. You're on it, walking, working, doing. And wired up to your chest is a little meter, glowing, labeled worth. As long as your feet keep moving, the needle stays up. But the moment you step off, the moment you stop, the needle starts to drop. So you climb back on. Not because you want to, because the falling needle feels like dying. That's the machine you've been living inside. And nobody ever told you that you were the one who got wired to it. And here's the cruel logic of it. You can never rest, because the meter only counts doing. Sleep doesn't count. Stillness doesn't count. A quiet afternoon staring at the ceiling, letting your mind wander, breathing slowly, healing a little, none of it counts. To the voice, those hours are simply blank. Wasted. So even when you do manage to sit down, you sit down already in debt, with the needle already falling, and that's why you can't enjoy it. You're resting on borrowed time, and the interest is guilt. But it gets worse, because this voice is clever. It doesn't just make you feel bad when you stop. It moves the finish line. You tell yourself, I'll rest when this is done. So you finish the thing. And the voice immediately points at the next thing. There is always a next thing. The to-do list is not a list, it's a faucet, and it does not turn off. Which means the rest you keep promising yourself, the rest you've earned, is a reward that is always one more task away. You are running toward a carrot that moves every time you reach it. And so, slowly, something quietly devastating happens. You forget how to rest at all. Not how to sit down, You can do that. But how to actually be at rest in your body, soft and easy and off the clock? Even your downtime gets optimized. You rest in order to recharge so you can work better. You sleep so you'll be productive tomorrow. You take a walk to clear your head for the next task. Notice it. Even your rest now serves your output. The machine ate your time off and handed it back to you as more fuel. There's nowhere left that's just yours. And that brings us to the darkest point of all of this. Because here is where it really hurts. You are exhausted. Genuinely, deeply tired. Your body is sending up every flare it has. And you finally give it the rest it's been screaming for, and you cannot receive it. The guilt is so loud that you sit there, depleted, in the middle of the exact thing you needed, and you feel nothing but wrong. You can't even enjoy the rest you're dying for. Read that again. You are too tired to keep going and too guilty to stop. There is no door out of that room. The voice has locked you in a place where moving hurts and stopping hurts, and you're just lying there in the dark caught perfectly between them, wondering what is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. I need you to really hear that, here at the bottom of it. The trap is real, but you are not the one who built it. And there is a way out, but it isn't a productivity hack. It's a different idea entirely. So let me give it to you, gently, as plainly as I can. Here's the turn. Rest is not a reward you earn after enough work. Rest is the ground you stand on. It came first, long before you ever produced a single thing, before the job, before the to-do list, before anyone measured your output. You were a small creature who needed to sleep and eat and be held and be still. That need didn't have to be earned. It was simply what being alive looked like. The voice has the whole thing backwards. It told you that you work in order to deserve rest. But it's the other way around. You rest because you are a living thing, and living things rest. Full stop. There is no bill to pay first. Look at anything alive, and you'll see it. The field lies fallow so it can grow again. The tide goes out before it comes back in. The tree drops every leaf and stands there bare all winter, producing nothing, and no one calls it lazy, because everyone understands that the bare months are not the tree failing. They're the tree living. Rest isn't the absence of life. It's half of what life actually is. You were only ever shown the other half and told it was the whole thing. You are not a machine. A machine is worth exactly what it produces, and when it stops producing, you throw it away. That is the math the voice has been doing on you, quietly, your whole life. But it's the wrong math, because you were never a machine. You're a person, and a person's worth is not a productivity score. It does not go up when you finish a project, and it does not go down when you sit on the couch doing nothing for a whole evening. It doesn't move at all, because it was never attached to your output in the first place. That connection was a lie, a useful lie, for someone, somewhere, but never for you. So picture the treadmill again, with its glowing worth meter wired to your chest. And now picture yourself simply reaching down and unclipping the wire. The meter goes dark, and nothing happens. You don't fall. You don't disappear. You don't become worthless. You just step off the belt and stand on the floor, on the solid, ordinary ground that was holding you up the entire time, and you realize it never needed your permission. You are allowed to stop, not because you finished, just because you're a person, and people are allowed to stop. And the most radical part, the part the voice will fight hardest, is this. You are worthy when you produce nothing at all. On the days you make nothing, fix nothing, finish nothing. The days you lie on the couch and barely move. You are exactly as valuable on those days as on the day you did everything right. Your worth was never the work. It was never the output. It was just you, the whole time, the same as it is for every tired person who ever needed to lie down. So let's go back to where we started. It's late, and you've finally sat down, and the little voice is clearing its throat, getting ready to tell you that you should be doing something. And tonight, you get to answer it. You can say, gently, not unkindly, I hear you. But I'm not on the clock right now. There's no meter. There's nothing to earn. This is just me, a tired person, resting on the ground, the way people have always rested. And then you let your shoulders drop. You let the cushions hold you. You let it actually be rest, soft and yours and free, with no tax to pay on it. The work will still be there tomorrow. It always is. But this quiet, this stillness, this permission to simply exist without producing a single thing, this is yours tonight. You don't have to earn it. You never did. So rest. Really rest. Let the meter stay dark a while. You are allowed to stop, and you are worth just as much sitting here doing nothing as you have ever been worth in your life. If this reached you tonight, stay a moment longer. Breathe. You're not behind. You're just a person, finally resting. And that was always allowed.